Hello, my wildlings, and welcome back to Turnabout Hops. In the last episode, I presented a couple pieces of evidence, namely a school book and the love letter, to the judge, and I think he's worked it out now that these two things were once one. And hopefully, this is going to help us prove that Gideon's supposed lovely feelings for Miss Hops are not quite so current. We'll see. The letter was ripped from the old school book. It was? What? What do you mean it was taken from the book? It's exactly what it sounds like. The page was torn from an old school book. Gideon Grey did write it, that is true. But it was not recent. It was actually something from when he was a kid. Her forehead. He bullied her as a child. Yes, that is also true. But that may have been why he targeted her, his own insecurities about his feelings. But this means one simple thing. This was a childhood crush and does not represent his feelings right now. Oh, so he may not hold these feelings anymore. Exactly. After all, he was just a kid at the time. Oh, this explains so much. Oh, so he hasn't intended for Hops to read it. But then, why was it?
Oh, so what exactly does this mean for this trial?
Gideon Grey's feelings for Judy are outdated, not at all recent. And yet the prosecution claims the attack happened because they both had feelings for her, when in reality this was not the case.
Oh, I see. So, in other words, the motive no longer holds any water.
Exactly, which means my client had no motive to shoot the victim. Oh boy. Well, that is not at all the case.
It isn't? Oh, just because it...
These voices. I'm sorry, again, it's a very hot day when I'm recording this, and my mind is a little frazzled.
Just because his feelings are of a past time doesn't mean that the defendant knew that. So, for example, he saw the letter. What conclusion do you think he would have jumped to?
He would have thought the same thing we did. Indeed, the motive has not changed at all. The defence's arguments have fallen short of their intent.
That is certainly the case. However, the page was torn from the book and left on the table. But why was this done? And by whom? Wait, is she helping us? Apparently this revelation threw her image of the case through a loop. Then maybe she's realized about Janet.
Yes, Agent Sky, that has also crossed my mind. But perhaps it was the defendant himself. His discovery of the letter? This is conjecture, however I cannot say for certain. And yet there is no other possibility as of right now. Nobody else could have possibly committed the crime.
Actually, I know of somebody who could have done both actions.
Oh, really? A new suspect? All right, who is this person?
Oh, I wish it wasn't. But it probably is. The younger sister of Judy Hops. One of them, anyway.
Janet Hops? Have you lost your mind? Not only is she Judy Hops' sister, she discovered the scene.
And that was no coincidence. Please, Your Honor, we have significant reason to suspect her. All I'm asking is for her to come and testify.
And what is the prosecution's position on this matter?
So, Janet Hops. An interesting twist, yeah?
Mr. Gavin?
Not only did Janet Hops arrest her sister, she also pointed the finger at the current defendant as well.
She is also the one who discovered the letter.
Coincidence and luck, perhaps. Or not. Oh yes, this seems more of a pattern. Like a dog on a leash, she has led us and the case along since the start. Interesting indeed.
Looks like Clavier has come to the same conclusion as us. Yeah, it seems that way. He's probably been waiting for something like this all along.
Then, if there are no objections, bailiff, bring Janet Hops from the gallery into the stand.
Right, then here we go. It's us against her. We can do this. You sure you want to do this, Judy? She's family.
Witness, name and occupation.
Oh God, what was her voice? It had a bit of a southern accent. There it is. Janet Hobbs, Bunny Barrow, Neighborhood Watch. But before we begin, seriously? Justice, Judy, you're suspecting me? Seriously? Oh God, I can't quite get this voice down. I wish it weren't so, Janet, but... Where is Janet's voice? Is this revenge for the last few days? Is that the reason? I thought you were a seeker of truth. Pathetic.
Witness, that is quite enough.
Oh, don't worry, I've said my piece. No, I'm having trouble maintaining this voice right now. I'm blaming the heat. It's too hot. I don't like it. So, what do we talk about?
Just tell us your part in the incident. Everything you can.
Oh, is that all? All right, let's put this whole thing to bed. My part to play. During the reunion, I left to make sure everyone was behaving themselves. While I was out, a gunshot rang out throughout the entire town. When I arrived, my sister stood over the injured Gideon Gray. I arrested her since she was the prime suspect. Of course, that was before I knew Nicholas Wilde was the true villain.
Yes, that all matches previous testimony. I fail to see what more we can learn from this.
Then watch and learn, Your Honour. Janet Hobbs, let's waste no time.
Then you may begin your cross-examination, and I don't like that tone you gave with me. Respect your elders, or your elders will or I will have to give you a punishment. The penalty, that's the word. Damn, punishment. That makes it sound like I would hurt you. I wouldn't be the one hurting you. I have other ways. Anyway, you may begin your cross-examination.
Cross-examination. My part to play. During the reunion, I left to make sure everyone was behaving themselves. Why did that job fall to you in the first place? Neighborhood Watch, remember? It's purely voluntary, but I like to take it seriously. Remember, we don't have our own dedicated police force out there. If it wasn't for people like me, Bunny Burrow may have been worse off. But anyway, while I was out, a gunshot rang out throughout the entire town. Yes, I heard it too. And you were near the scene when it rang out. The closest, since I was first on the scene. You mentioned how you were out on patrol. Did you happen to see anything at all during the time before the gunshot? Nope, nothing. I was by myself the whole time. Nothing interesting happened. Oh, but I was just doing my job, a little more. I see. Could you add that to your testimony? But before that, nothing of note happened. Let's double check the evidence. Judy's testimony. I spoke with Janet while moving the pie cart, and then she headed in the direction of Gideon's van. Okay, that's good to know. We'll come back to that. When I arrived, my sister stood over the injured Gideon Gray. And you arrested her because she was holding the gun at the time, correct? Oh yes, though the power of hindsight has proved me wrong. Oh, but that did seem the correct course at the time, given the circumstance. Can you truly blame me? Yes. One question, did you ever see a hair of my client at the scene? I'm afraid not. In truth, I was too focused on what I saw in front of me to look. Okay, now add that to your testimony. I did not see Mr. Wilde at the scene, alright. I arrested her since she was the prime suspect. Despite the fact that she's your own sister. Oh, just like Judy seems to be pointing towards me. You may be my sister, but I can't let you get away with attempted murder. No, look, she answered the question for me. Now, where was I? Of course, that was before I knew that Nicholas Wilde was the true villain. You sound eager to make that the truth, Janet. But that is only one truth, and we shall show it. She knows we're onto her, but she'll stick wholeheartedly up to her story. We're going to need to find some kind of hole in her version of events. Let's take another look. Yeah, during the reunion. Yeah, okay, well, I was out there, gunshot rang out. Before that, nothing of note happened. Well, I think I'm just going to have to present Judy's testimony. But that's something I'm going to do in the next episode. And I'll see you all then. Goodbye, good night, and good luck.